Hi, this is Sherry. I'm at Dances with Films, and I'm super excited to talk to the co-writers, star, and director of Valley of Ditches.
Okay, so Valley of Ditches, we're going to be playing tonight at midnight here at the Chinese Theater. It's a thriller, horror, survival type film. It's very psychological and very low scale, kind of like an Open Water or a Blair Witch Project in its nature, but very suspenseful, and I think a great movie, and hope people can check it out.
And I'm in it, so.
So you're the star now. I am so sorry. What is your name?
I'm AmandaTodisco.
And I'm Christopher James Lang.
Now, what was the inspiration for the film?
The inspiration, we did a feature together where we traveled around with, and it was a drama film, and they had suggested that perhaps something with a little more tension, a little more of a thriller would be more marketable on this sort of budget level. And so the two of us kind of put our heads together, and we decided to come up with a very simple concept that we could really do a good job telling. We added in some crime elements, just added in some amazing sort of subjective matter that made it an awesome movie, and so here it is today.
Now, what was it like? Because from the poster, it looks kind of like you're buried alive.
Well, they didn't bury me, but I was definitely left in my own grave, which I also helped dig. Yeah, it was intense. There was a lot of physical action required, which is kind of why Chris ended up casting me for the last movie in the first place, because I'm willing to do that kind of stuff. So I had a lot of scrapes and bumps and bruises, but it was definitely worth it.
Now, what was the funnest scene to film?
Oh, fun? Was anything like fun?
Probably the one where she crawled through the cactus, or maybe the one where she gets pushed into the grave, or maybe the one where like her leg gets slammed in a car. There's a lot of fun scenes, I think, for her especially.
I think my favorite scene I can't tell you about because it's a very important, pivotal moment in the movie, but once everybody sees it, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
It looks like it's a lot of action. Now, did you do your own scenes?
Oh, I do all my own stunt work, yes. We couldn't afford to pay for anybody to do stunts.
Oh my gosh, did you guys hurt yourselves?
Always.
Never?
I was always
Never,
running,
always.
I was always running into cacti, and we would do a scene like a million times over and over again, and I would just want it to be done. And there was this one time where I had to like roll over and like look at the camera or something, and I landed on a cactus. But I wanted to get the shot so bad so we could move on, because I'd already hurt myself 7 times, that I just laid there in the scene with this cactus in my body. And as soon as the camera stopped, I was just like, oh my god, someone get it out, please. So a lot of that.
Wow, where did you film this?
And Joshua Tree, Yucca Valley. So north. This is north, right?
North, south, east, west.
Northeast.
Now, how did you get the process to write together for the film? Were you in the same room together, or did you do separate writing and then put it all together at the end?
Very separate. So she lives in Boston, I live in Washington, D.C. So I did an initial kind of bare bones outline of the story, and then sent it to her, and she was like, this was too, like, kind of like your normal, like, slasher thriller, not slasher, but like thriller, serial killer, blah, blah, blah. So she's like, I'm going to take out all that stuff, put in a bunch of stuff, and then, so she worked on that for a while, and then I feel like...
Then he ruined my hopes and dreams of all the stuff that he took out. We went back and forth, making each other feel really bad, and then we got this movie that got into Dances with Films.
Congratulations on that. Now, how do you two know each other?
So I cast her in my last feature, and I was had a very strong opinion to cast her. I didn't know anything about her, just like she looked the part. It seemed like she had a really good star quality to her, and I'm like, she seems really cool to work with, and like it's going to be someone that's going to do all the kind of weird stunts and crazy things that you have to do in a film. And it turns out that like we both ended up getting along really well, and we kind of became best friends, and now we're like creative partners.
Oh, that is so great. Now, what was the process for funding the filming?
So funding, everything before this was all very privately funded, and this one was too. It's just sort of whatever money we can get our hands on. But this time around, we have a mutual friend, Kevin, that she met. She's, well,
Bartender.
and so he would come into the bar a lot, and so she was like, I'm going to all these film festivals with my film, and he got really excited and said he wanted to get involved on film. So he came on as a producer, and he found us a few sources of people that would just wanted to get behind the project, and so we kind of pooled all the money together. Our total budget ended up being $35,000, which, if you look at the movie, it doesn't seem like it seems much larger than that, and that's because just we had an awesome team that was able to pull it off with very minimal.
That sounds so cool. Now, why did you choose Joshua Tree for the filming as opposed to the East Coast?
Joshua Tree, we looked into the fact that it looks like this amazing hellscape if you try and do it in a scary way. The main reason we went there is because there was a location we could rent that was very affordable, and it was right in the middle of the desert, so we could film on private property and not have to get permits for the other Joshua Tree, because we could film into it from the private property. And so it was perfect, and budget, it's all budget.
Sneaky, very smart. Oh my gosh. So, what are the film influences that you use for this? It sounds like you guys didn't want to do like a traditional horror film, but you also wanted to take aspects from some of the found footage movies that were all the rage a few years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I feel like, what would you say some of your writing influences were on getting? Because she added a lot of the sort of meat to the story.
Oh, why'd you have to send it back to me?
Because I'm talking so much. It's your turn.
Well, I mean, for writing, I took a lot from when I was a kid. My parents went through a church phase, and we went to a born again Christian church growing up. So I was always really into the stories, and I got really fascinated with the Bible and the stories behind it. And that's why I was like, if we're gonna do a horror, I want to include some aspects of religion and Christianity. So he actually found Second King, and it was the story in it is, fill this valley full of ditches, and that's where the name of the movie came from. So the authors of the Bible were influential, I suppose.
Yeah, and visually, it's very much, you see a movie like Open Water or something like Blair Witch, where it's just minimalistic, and when you do that, you have to have a very intense story, and you have to have a very you have to have a main character that people can relate to instantly, and Amanda did a really good job of carrying that. So
That sounds like a lot of fun. Now, if someone wants to find the film and they're not here in Los Angeles, able to see the midnight showing at Dances with Films, how can they find you?
they can go to valleyofditches.com. That's with a D-I, that one. And check it out. We're going to be putting news and stuff up there. Right now, this is our world premiere tonight, so we're still in process of getting in other festivals and getting distributed and everything, but soon enough, hopefully you'll be able to watch it anywhere.
Sounds exciting. Congratulations. And I guess I'll be scared at midnight.
Yes, please do
yes,
come.
please come.
Thank you for talking with me. I'm totally excited about the film. I love horror. I love midnight showings. And I'm from the East Coast, too, so I got to show representative love to my East Coast people.
Nice.
East Coast. This is Sherry, and I'm at Dances with Films in Los Angeles, California.